just like really amazing books. Like, even though I've been in kind of a slump, like this has been some good reads. Hello, welcome back to my channel. Today is a little mid-year freak out book tag, and I'm just gonna be discussing all the books that I've read at this point in the year. It won't be the exact same as like a year wrap up where like at the end of the year we talk about all the books I've read, but it will be kind of similar, if that makes any sense. So I am going to be discussing those books in length, but not as in full length as I would be in an end of the year wrap up video. Plus, I've only read 19 books and my goal is 26, so by the end of the year I probably will have read more than 26 at that point because I'm ahead of my goal. But anyway, really excited to talk about these books, so let's get into it.
The first book I'm going to talk about is Why We Took the Car by Wolfgang Herjanoff. This was my first book of the year. I read it like around Christmas time, like the first time I got my Kindle, and I was so happy to get a Kindle. And I saw this book, and it wasn't on Kindle Unlimited. I actually ended up buying it, but I just thought the premise sounded so interesting. But if you don't remember one of my first videos, which was my January to February wrap up, I'll put that right there so you can watch it. It's basically a book about one of our main characters, Mike and Schick, and they like kind of are outcast in high school, and one day they find this like beat up stolen car, and they decide to go on this road trip, and it's supposed to be like this coming of age, kind of funny, kind of heartwarming, sweet story about like boyhood and growing up and bullying in high school and minorities, and like also it's about grief and family and dynamics and all those fun things. But it's a really incredible read. I would say I would like to reread this at some point because I gave it a 4.5 out of 5-star rating, but if I could have like reread it, I might give it a higher rating. The only reason I didn't give it a higher rating is because at the time I felt like I was kind of confused by some parts of it, and I felt like it needed to sit with me for a bit, if that makes any sense. And I feel like because of that, it was hard to give it as high of a rating as I wanted to give it, because I didn't know if I was so super satisfied with the way it ended, but at the same time I liked the way it ended. I don't know if that makes any sense. And honestly, even talking about it now, like I still kind of feel that way about this book. I still think it's a beautiful book and it's beautifully written, and it is translated fiction. So I'm wondering if that's why it felt like there was maybe some context missing. You know what I'm saying? I think that's like a problem with a lot of translated fiction. Like you sometimes just feel like there's certain pieces of context missing. So maybe if I read it in the original Russian, if I ever learn Russian, I'll like it better. I don't know. Either way, it was an interesting read. And if you want like a coming of age type of story with teenagers, I think you would like it. And the next book I read was Six of Crows. If you can't see me smiling, it's because I loved this freaking book. Have I read Crooked Kingdom yet, or Shadow and Bone to finish it? No, I have not, and it's the middle of the year and I need to get to that. But guys, I love Six of Crows. If you didn't see me gushing about it in the other video, you're gonna see me gushing about it here. Six of Crows is just, it's so beautifully written. It's incredible fantasy. You have this diverse, beautiful cast of characters like that you all like fall in love with. Like it's like, I can't. Leigh Bardugo knows how to write beautiful prose and beautiful characters and beautiful settings, and you can just like, you can tell. No wonder this show, well, no wonder this book was made into a TV show. And I loved it. I loved it so much. It was my first 5-star rating, but honestly it's a 6-star. I think anyone who's read this book can attest to it being a 6-star. It's so good, and I honestly can't wait to finish the rest of the books in the series. Again, because I was supposed to read Shadow and Bone first before Six of Crows, I can't decide if I want to move on to Crooked Kingdom or just jump into Shadow and Bone, because Six of Crows kind of ended on this cliffhanger. So I'm like, I kind of want to know what happens, but like also should I read it in order? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. But either way, if you haven't read Six of Crows yet, it's not too late to read it. Like, I feel like I was pretty late jumping on the bandwagon with this book, and I still thoroughly enjoyed it. So please go read it. Definitely is a 5 to 6 star rating. All right, and then I read The Boy, the Mole, the Fox, and the Horse. Guys, this book, first of all, it is so beautiful. Like, I think I talked about this before in the other video, like just how beautiful this book is, like the sketches, the illustrations, the gold lettering, everything about it is beautiful. Not only is the cover beautiful though, like the inside of this book is beautiful. Like the words and the poetry and the prose, everything about this book is stunningly gorgeous. If you don't know what this book is about, is it follows a boy, a fox, a mole, and a horse, and they all kind of run into each other, and they give each other sort of like life lessons, I guess you could say, and they end up like going on this journey of life while giving each other like advice and tidbits about life, if that makes any sense. So while it is like children's fiction, I feel like it's one of those books where it also is pretty hard hitting for adults, similar to The Little Prince, if you've ever read that. And it's just so beautiful. This was another 5 to 6 star rating. I gushed about this so much in my last video, but it is truly like phenomenal book. I really want to watch the adaptation that they made. I haven't seen it yet, but I'm sure I'll enjoy it just as much as I enjoyed the book. And if you're also in a slump, you need a pretty short book, like look at it, it's fairly thin. It took me like 30 minutes to read, in all honesty, but it could probably take you shorter. The only reason it took me that long is because I was crying at some parts and I had to put it down. But yes, please go read. It is such a beautiful book. And I read The Missing of Claire de Lune, which was my next 5 to 6 star rating this year. Guys, I have talked about the Mirror Visitor series so much at this point that I don't know if people are sick about me talking about it, but I cannot recommend it enough, okay? If you want, I'm being aggressive here, but no, I need to be aggressive, because if you want clean, like high fantasy with an arranged marriage trope that's an actually like a good arranged marriage trope where it's like a slow burn and like a winter fantasy setting with like family drama and family scandal, you need to go read this book right now. Honestly, I cannot wait till it's winter again so I can finish the series, because it's like set in winter, so I feel like I can't read it till it is winter. But oh my gosh, it's so good. Also, the books are beautiful, like just the cover and everything, so stunning. I think these are the European editions. So stunning. But anyway, this book is amazing. It's incredible. It follows our main girl, Ophelia, and she's like has this magical power to read objects. So if she touches an object, she can tell where it's from, who it's been with, its history, its past. And because of this, she needs to like marry into this family, like have this arranged marriage into this family so they can basically use her power for their own needs. And the guy she's having this arranged marriage to, his name is Thorn, and it kind of feels like a Beauty and the Beast situation, kind of like a Grumpy X Sunshine, because like he's very like cold and standoffish, also kind of like Mr. Darcy and Elizabeth in Pride and Prejudice, and she's very like talkative and independent. So like it again, like kind of like Beauty and the Beast, Pride and Prejudice, Jane Eyre a little bit. Like it kind of just has that like similar love story. And I love it because it's a very slow burn love story, and it's not just about the romance in the book. Like honestly, the romance is a subplot. And as much as I love a good romance book, I love reading fantasy personally where the romance is just the subplot and not like the main plot. And that's how you feel reading this book, because you're mostly focused on the family scandal and like the magic system and the mystery behind all the characters, and it's just, it's so good. It's so good. Honestly, I think this is my favorite book in the series, but again, I haven't finished the rest of the series and I need to go do that, but I'm waiting till winter time, so yeah, please go read this book. And then I read X Marks the Spot by Gloria Chow. This was a really fun time. I gave it like a 4.5 out of 5-star rating. It was just a cute little romance book about these two exes, and they have to go on this like treasure hunt to find this inheritance that both of their grandpas like had, but like whoever gets to it first gets like the money basically. It's really, really cute. I think it's set in Shanghai, China. I'm pretty sure that's where it's set. Don't quote me on that though, I could be wrong. And it was a fun time, you know. I liked the scavenger hunt aspect of it. It made me unexpectedly cry like near the end whenever you find out more about these two exes' grandpas. I really liked the MMC. I thought he was funny and cute. There's this really cute scene where they're like, him and the FMC are in a museum together and they have to do this like heist and steal this painting, and it's really cute, and I had a really fun time with it. Would I say it's like the best romance book I've ever read? No, but it was still fun, and I think if you like need a fun romance, I think you would have a fun time with this. Also, I've never read a romance where it's like a scavenger hunt plot, so kind of different for a romance. And then I read the infamous The Hail Mary Project, which everyone and their mothers was talking about. Everyone and their mothers was gushing about this book. Everyone and their mothers saw the movie, which I still haven't seen for this book. I know, it's late. I need to watch it. I liked this book. I gave it a 4.5 out of 5-star rating. I didn't give it as high as I thought it would, which is kind of weird for me because I love sci-fi and I love space and like that whole genre of fiction. I think the only reason I didn't give it higher is because I thought it was going to be a bit easier to understand and a bit more emotional than it was. I think because it was so sciencey, there were some parts where I just didn't understand it, and that's why you need to listen to this book over read it physically, because the audiobook is amazing. I still had a fun time with it though. I thought it was funny. The guy who narrates our main character is hilarious. I really liked Rocky. The humor, like the prose are really beautiful. The humor was good. I liked it. I really did like this book. I just think I need to reread it to like love it, because there are some people out there who like absolutely loved it, and I'm really, really happy for them. I just don't think I'm in that like minority. Well, I guess it's not really a minority. I don't think I'm in that group of people, if you will. But I don't know, maybe when I watch the movie and if I reread it, I'll give it a higher rating. But that's not to say it was a bad rating. I mean, I still thought it was good, and if you haven't read it yet, it's not too late to go pick it up. And then I read The Spell Shop by Sarah Beth Durst, which you saw in one of my videos. I gave this a 2-star rating out of 5 because this was just kind of a disappointment for me, honestly. I like Sarah Beth Durst's writing style. I really do. I think she knows how to write really cute, cozy fantasy. The only reason I didn't give this a higher rating is because I kind of felt like it was a little slow for me, and I was kind of in a slump. I mean, I kind of still am in a slump, but like specifically during this time, I was in a slump while reading it, and it was like too slow for me to like be in a slump and read it. And I honestly wasn't invested in the romance because it's kind of like cozy. It's like cozy romance fantasy, which is kind of an interesting genre, but I wasn't super invested in the romance, and I wanted to be. And I think that's another reason why I just couldn't give it as high of a rating as I wanted to. But I don't know, maybe I'll read another Sarah Beth Durst book and give it a higher rating. I don't know. Let me know if you've read this book and what you thought of it. And I don't know, maybe I'm crazy, maybe I'm absolutely wrong, maybe it was a good book and I'm just wasn't in the right headspace for it, because sometimes that happens to me with books where like if I'm in a book slump or it's just not the right time, and then I end up reading the book later, I'm like, oh, this was a good book, I just wasn't seeing it for what it was. I don't know if it's one of those situations though. I don't know. And I read The Final Gambit by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. This one I only give a 3-star rating, which is kind of crazy because usually for the Inheritance Games book, I give like a 4 to 5-star rating for the books. And I like Jennifer Lynn Barnes, I said that backwards, LOL, writing style. I just think this one was a bit slow for me and a bit repetitive, and I wasn't as invested in the storyline as I normally am with the Inheritance games. Because the Inheritance games, they're supposed to be like fun and fast and like, ooh, like mystery, thriller, like you're supposed to get in that vibe. But I just wasn't like, I wasn't feeling that with this book. I definitely felt that with the first and second book, but like with the third book, I don't know, I felt like it kind of dragged a bit, which is okay. And I think that's normal with like second to third books and series. And I'm still planning to continue this series, so I'm not trying to drag Jennifer Lynn Barnes at all as an author, because I think she's an incredible author. I just don't think the third book was it for me. But I still liked it. And I really liked how we got to see more of Jamie, because Jamie's my favorite brother. For all the Jamie haters out there, I love Jamie. And I liked how we got to see, spoilers, skip ahead if you don't know this, but I liked how we got to see him and Avery's like relationship a lot in this book. I just wish there was a bit more thriller aspect to it, if that makes any sense. And then I read Sirens and Sea Captains, and this was an arc I was given, and it was a cute little romantasy book about a siren, and he has this arranged marriage to this girl, and he basically hunts sirens and other sea creatures in the sea, and he's kind of like a grumpy sea captain, and he like, I don't know, like it's a grumpy ex-sunshine type of romance book, and I thought it was cute. I gave it a 4 out of 5 star rating. I had a fun time with it. I wish it was a bit less fluff, but also I think it was meant to be fluff over like angsty type of romance, and I still thought it was cute, and I had a fun time with it, and overall I was grateful to be given this arc, because it was nice. It was a nice, fun romance for summer, because it's like sirens and sea captains. That's a perfect summer read. Then I read Nightfall by Shannon Messenger. If you guys don't know, The Keeper of the Lost Cities made me. It made me as a reader. It made me as a person. It made me as a fantasy reader. I love Keeper of the Lost Cities. I cannot gush about Keeper of the Lost Cities enough. I think it's incredible. I think it's beautiful. I think it's like one of the most underrated like YA fantasy series out there. Like, I honestly don't think it gets talked about enough. I feel like, oh, it is so freaking good, guys. And this book was incredible. I think this is like the 7th book in the series. I still really need to finish the series. There's like 9 books out there, and she's coming out with another book in 2027, so I need to finish them before she comes out with her new book. But this book was incredible. Every time I dive into this world with Sophie and Fitz and Keith and Tam and Lynn and like all the characters, I just fall in love again and again and again. And this book specifically, like, we got to see so much of Keith, who is my baby. He's my favorite character, and we got to see so much more of him, and he just got so much more book time, get it, instead of screen time. And I loved that for him. I loved that for me personally. It was so much fun to read. It was so good for a reading slump. And honestly, now talking about it, I'm like, man, I need to get back into the Keeper of the Lost Cities world, because maybe that's why I'm in a reading slump, because I just haven't been reading books that are as fun as Keeper of the Lost Cities. So if you haven't read this book series yet, it is my favorite YA fantasy series. Please go read it right now. And Flame Theory by C.F.E. Black. This was such a good book. It was so good. So good. Can't even describe it. It kind of has the same vibes as like Harry Potter meets How to Train Your Dragon meets like kind of Divergent in a way. It's about this girl, and she has to attend this elite dragon riding school, but she's there undercover to spy on the Duke's son, Rush Covington. And like, she's there kind of illegally because she's not supposed to be enrolled in the school, and like her and Rush end up butting heads, and then like a romance forms from it, as it does in an enemies to lovers type of situation. But this book is amazing because not only is it like good, clean romantasy, it's a lot more than just romantasy. Like, the dragon riding aspect of it was so cool to see in this book. Like, I felt like I was there in the arena, like, while they were riding their dragons. It kind of had like a Hunger Games X Divergent vibe to it, because like, you know, Hunger Games and Divergent have that very like YA, like dystopian, like thrillery like type of vibe where you just kind of feel like the rush and you feel like you're there in that atmosphere. I don't know if that makes any sense, but I felt like the same feeling I got when I read The Hunger Games and Divergent as I did when I read this book. I don't know if that makes any sense, but that's how it felt like reading this book. It was so good. I loved Rush. He is so fine, guys. Like, he is the perfect book boyfriend. Perfect book boyfriend. And I need to finish this series because this is another brand new fantasy series that I started. Alright, and then the next book I want to talk about is another arc I was sent, which I'm so grateful for, and that is Burning the Ashes by Rachel Watcher. This is a really fun middle to YA like grade series. It's about like superheroes and it's like fantasy, and it's just really fun. And if you haven't read the first book yet, Playing with Fire, I definitely recommend it. Like, these books are just so good. Like, her writing style honestly kind of reminds me of Shannon Messenger a little bit, and I think that's why I had such a fun time reading it, because I love Keeper of the Lost Cities. But yes, I gave this a 5-star rating, and I was very happy with it. Then I read 13 Years in a Heartbeat, which, I was sent this by an author. It wasn't an arc, but it was just like a book I was sent by an author. And, respectfully, I don't think this book was for me. I think the age gap in it wasn't something that I particularly enjoyed, but that's only because, for those of you who don't know, this is a small town clean romance, and it's age gap, but the age gap is an 18-year-old who's about to graduate high school, she's a senior, and a 32-year-old man. So respectfully, I didn't personally like it because I felt like the whole time they were just constantly mentioning the age gap, and I don't usually mind age gap, but like, if it's an age gap book where they're constantly mentioning the gap, it kind of starts to weird me out. And I also think I realized while reading this that maybe that's just too big of a gap for me. I think a good like age gap romance would be like 20 and 30. But then I'm also thinking, is that even considered like age gap? Because I feel like most of the time when you think of those type of books, it's usually a crazy like distance. But I don't know. Not to disrespect the author, I think she's very good at writing. I just think for me personally, I didn't really like how I was feeling with the romance and where it was going, and I also just wasn't really invested in the story, so I did give it a 2-star rating. Again, no disrespect to the author, it's just this book personally just wasn't for me. I read Fake Skinny by Lynn Painter. Guys, I am feral for Alec Bukowski. I love him so much. I love him so much. Heck, I'm feral for this book. Like, I love this book so much. I literally like had so much fun with it. I finished the whole book in one day. I've never finished a like 50 chapter book in one day like that before, and I did. And I listened to the audiobook, and the voice of Alec is voiced by Aiden Bissett, who is one of my favorite like instrumental like pop singers of all time. I love him so much. And so the fact that Lynn Painter literally had him voice Alec is chef's kiss, so perfect. I love that this book is going to become a movie. I love that so much. I'm so excited to see who they get to play Alec. I honestly wish that they would have Aiden play Alec, because I just think that would also be perfect, because, you know, he voiced him in the book, but I don't know if they're going to do that, but I'm so excited. The only thing I will say about this book is it's more closed door than clean romance. It's still closed door, okay, because nothing happens between the characters, but there is one scene that like is very heavily implied, and if that's not something you're comfortable with, I wouldn't recommend it. Like, even though nothing actually happens between the characters, it's a very intense like kissing scene, and like in this scene Alec is like shirtless, and like I think like, again, it's not like anything happens in that scene, like they're just kissing, but to some people it might be a little too spicy. I felt like it was a little bit spicy as a closed door, no spice reader. So, you know, I think that's one of those things where it's really up to your own discretion. I just thought personally, for all my like closed door readers out there who are watching this, like, you would probably want that warning. But if that stuff doesn't personally bother you, then I cannot recommend this book enough. It's so cute, it's perfect romance, and you will have such a fun time reading it. Like, I breezed right through it. I read Perfectly Wedded, which is a hockey romance, but this is like a hockey romance where it's like an arranged marriage. So basically this couple, who are originally friends in the beginning, they end up doing this like arranged marriage so she can have his health insurance for a big like surgery that's coming up. And they all live together in this big house with all these other hockey players. So whenever everyone else in the house finds out that they're getting married, they're like, oh my gosh, like, why are you guys getting married? You've never even dated before. Like, this is so random. Turns out they've actually liked each other the whole time. They just didn't date because they were too scared of like ruining their friendship. I thought this was a cute book. I gave it like 4 and 5 star rating. I think I wish it was a little bit less, just a tad bit less corny, and that's coming from me. Like, I love a good corny book. I really do. Like, I love it when I'm watching a super cheesy movie or reading a super cheesy book. Like, I freaking love Hallmark movies, you know, like, I love all that type of stuff. But I felt like something about this one, even for me, felt just a little bit too corny, and it also felt a little bit rushed. I wasn't super invested in the romance aspect of it because it kind of felt rushed, but I loved the found family aspect of it. And what's cool about these books is all the other characters show up in other books in the series, and they also get together with like different people, so like we get to see their own love story. And like, so I want to continue reading the series for the found family aspect. I just didn't particularly like the main couple in this book. Does that make any sense? It doesn't mean I dislike Courtney's writing. I do. I really like her writing. I don't think this particular book in the series is for me, which is fine because it was still cute. Another arc, which is called Petals and Poison. This one was really, really cute. It's another like romantic-y arc that honestly took me like 2 days to finish. It was really, really fast, really easy. I was really, really glad I was given it. I honestly think I enjoyed this one more than Sirens and Sea Captains. Like, I would give it like a 4.5 out of 5 star rating. It was very cute. I had a fun time. And then I read Nothing Like the Movies. Guys, this is also getting a movie adaptation. Better Than the Movies, Nothing Like the Movies, and Fake Skating is all getting an adaptation, and I am so pumped. I don't know who they're gonna get to play Wes, but they better do my man justice because I love my baby Wes. But if you guys don't know, Nothing Like the Movies is the duology, or second book, if you will, to Better Than the Movies, which is the first book. And in the first book, Wes and Liz are in high school, and they fake date each other so she can get with this guy, but then they end up actually falling in love with each other. So it's kind of like a To All the Boys I Loved Before situation, like kind of like any of your classic fake dating romance tropey movies. But the difference thing about this one is, like, I personally feel like this is one of the better written romances out there. Like, even though Lynn Painter uses all the same tropes that every other romance book uses, I just think she does it different. I don't know how to describe it. Like, she uses all the same tropes, but like, she also knows how to write it where it's still so good. Like, not to say that the other ones are bad, but like, she just does it the best. I don't know what to say. She just does it the best. No shade to anyone, she just does it the best, and I love Nothing Like the Movies. I was so scared to read this because there is a huge like miscommunication plot in this book, and for those of you who don't know, I hate miscommunication, and this leads to a lot of conflict in Liz and Wes's relationship, and that's why I was so scared to read this book, because half the book is about this big miscommunication that happens between them. But I loved it because despite the fact of there being this big miscommunication, there was so much yearning in this book. Like, you could tell the whole time that Wes was so invested in this relationship, and Liz was too. And it was exploring a lot more about Wes's like family life and that dynamic, which I really loved because we didn't see that in the first book. Like, in the first book, we saw more of Liz's family dynamic. So I just loved it so much in this book. And honestly, if you were also scared to read it like I was, I can't recommend reading it enough. I gave it a 5 to like 6-star rating. That's how much I loved it. And I thought I was gonna hate it because Better Than the Movies is my baby. So I was like, there's no way like a second book is gonna be that good. It's amazing. Please go read it right now. Stop whatever you're doing and go read it. Then I read Witches and Wolves, which was another cutie little romantic arc about witches and wolves, kind of like Sirens and Sea Captains. This one was so cute, guys. This one had a very like Halloween-y feel to it because it's about, you know, witches, wolves. It was so cute. Like, I actually thought this one was the best out of all the arcs I was given. Like, this one was just so fun to read. Like, I laughed at so many parts in this. I loved the main couple. Like, oh my gosh, it was so good. I don't know when this book is coming out, but whenever it does, I really want to get a physical copy of it because I like just want to see the cute cover of it, and I love any sort of like Halloween-y, like spooky type of romance book. And then the last, although it's not really the last because I'm going to be reading more books after that, but the most recent book, I guess you could say I've read, was The Nightingale by Kristen Hanna. This was for a buddy read that I'm doing on Instagram. Go follow him. His name is Jason Reads. He has good content, but we're doing a buddy read together. And it was really fun. This book I gave a 5 to 6-star rating. It is a beautiful book. It's this incredible work of World War II fiction, and it takes place in France, and it's just stunning. It's like, it makes you feel so much empathy for all the people who have like had to live during that time, and it just makes you see so much. I've heard a lot of people compare it to All the Light We Cannot See, which I haven't read yet, but I need to read because I know that also gives you that same feeling of like, where it just gives you that perspective of people who lived in that time period of history. But I cannot recommend this book enough. I mean, I think a lot of people have read this book, but like, I also think there's a lot of people who just write it off because it's popular World War II fiction, but it's so beautiful, and she just knows how to, I think she really knows how to empathize with people who were living during that like time period of the war. And like, there were a lot of scenes that were just really heavy hitting, and I cried too. There are a lot of trigger warnings for this book. I will say, you should definitely look up the trigger warnings because it's not a light and fun read. It's a very hard-hitting read. You know, it's about World War II. There was a lot of like aggressions and terrible things that happened during that time. So please look up trigger warnings before you decide to read this book. But if you decide to read it, like, I think you'll have such an amazing time with it because it's beautiful and incredible, and I'm probably gonna cry just literally talking about it. Alright, well, those were all the books. Thanks for joining me along my little talk today about all the books I've read. I honestly think that by the end of the year, I might get to like 30 or 32 books. I don't know for sure, but my goal is 26, and I'm already like, I think like 2 or 3 books above that. I have to look at Fable again, but I'm pretty proud of myself. Like, yeah, I am kind of in a slump now, but I think that's just because sometimes during the summertime I get kind of in a slump. But like, I've had pretty good reads so far, you know, despite being in a slump, and I'm like getting ahead of my goal, and I'm really happy about that. I feel like I'm transcending the game. I feel very, very proud of myself. So yeah, please let me know what you guys have read so far this year, and also let me know any like good summertime reads, because I'm always in the mood for a good summertime read, like anything thrillery or romancy, because those are the two genres that I mostly associate with summer. But yeah, thank you so much for joining me, and remember to like and subscribe. Bye!